and welcome to this very exciting video. We have an absolutely amazing exclusive interview. I'm sitting here with Erich Ritter, who's very well known in terms of the shark world. We are here in Mexico at the moment. We're diving with Pro Dive Mexico. We're here with Scuba Verse and Dive Travel Adventures. And Erich has very kindly decided to give us some of this very special time after an amazing shark presentation. So I've got a few questions. We're going to have a quick chat with Erich and hopefully educate us all a little bit more. So Erich, thank you ever so much for your time. I really appreciate this. I'm going to try not to ask you, you've probably been asked a billion times in your life, like what's your favourite shark? I know you just told it's a black tip, so I'm going to try and ask some questions that might...
it doesn't matter, ask me anything you want.
Okay, what's your favourite bag of crisps?
That's a little personal.
So you have a lifelong association with sharks. You're well versed in terms of shark behaviour. We've seen your PhD in terms of shark, marine biology with shark behaviour. How did that all come about?
Well, I was 7 years old when I first saw my first sharks on TV, black and white, a little blurry, and I was fascinated by what I saw. But the narrator actually put something negative in his voice. And back when I believed television, so I couldn't understand what's going on. And of course, it was the time when Flipper just came out, and Flipper always killed the shark, so I was very upset. But then, of course, the big break came when I read Dr. Erich Ritter, I was 10 years old, and said, yeah, you can talk to animals. And everybody was talking to dogs, birds, horses. And so when I was 12 years old, I thought, well, I want to be a shark doctor. I want to be the first person who talks to sharks, and that's it.
You've literally fulfilled that dream, haven't you?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to ask you about your incident with bull shark. I don't know if the people watching this would have seen your scar. I might try and get a photo of it if you don't mind that later on. But you have a very visible scar on your leg where you were bitten, lost your calf muscle to a bull shark. Would you mind telling us about that?
No, it was a regular day at the office. We were working on a theory, actually we proved that the face guide push move. How do you have to do with the shark that's close by? And we always stated there's a lot of safety measurements. We had always safety nets, but the safety net in particular was, I always had a person who was standing on a platform above me and behind me. So in other words, he controlled the sharks that swam coming from behind me. I watched a shark in front of me. And if you would have said, let's say, just 7 o'clock, 3 meter, I would know where the shark is without turning around. And if the shark was closer than 2 meter, I start to turn around and do what we call face guide push move. Nothing new, we did it over and over. But in this day, we had television, obviously, they were filming it.
This is the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, it was with Nigel Martin. And was the host, and we just set it up the way we had both sharks around us. Obviously, we needed some really good shots. And I was talking to him, and my job was, of course, doing the interview and watch his back, basically the sharks behind him. And I was at the same time listening to my spotter on the platform that told me what's behind me. But it is a very unfortunate incident, and he didn't pay attention. So the shark actually moved in and did what we call an exploratory bite. I was in the water for 45 minutes. We had a little food source further up current, so I was most likely covered with some food particles. She gave an exploratory bite, and she let go right away. Okay, it's nothing that she was interested in, but the problem was she then got stuck behind me, and she completely got stressed. And then when she tried to get away, and the only way to get away was through my leg. And she grabbed my leg, and she tried to get away with me and the leg, and I had to react, and in the reaction, I lost my calf. So that's the whole story.
I mean, we saw the clip, didn't we, on the internet earlier this week?
But the funny thing was, of course, his only job would have been to prevent that shark from behind so that I don't lose my calf muscle. So now my wound is the perfect proof that I know what I'm talking about because I want to prevent that. So that's it.
So what year was this?
Was it in 2002?
2002. I think most people, if that happens to them, that would have, seriously, potentially changed what they did every day. But it didn't with you. You went back into it head on.
Actually, my first experience with sharks again was 3 months later when I repeated that exercise. I mean, I had all the time in the hospital. I was there for 5.5 weeks. And of course, I asked myself, what happened? My sharks just don't do these things. And of course, there's a lot of brainstorming, how could it happen? And I realized something very important. And that changed the way I saw sharks from then on is I have to understand the situation from the shark's viewpoint, not how we rationalize the situation, but what is the shark most likely thinking. We call it mental capacity-oriented animal perspective. And this is the first time I realized, wow, I missed this all my years to put in the way a shark interprets the situation. And from then on, every Bible I came across, I tried to pronounce from the shark's viewpoint. But because I had this revelation in the hospital, I couldn't wait to go back and see, to prove that this is the way we have to see sharks. And from then on, everything started to fall into place because I realized through my bite, we have to change our viewpoint in order to understand shark-human interaction.
How did the people close to you feel about that?
Well, of course, my parents saw it for the first time on television. And back when they didn't know if I survived or not, I was touching the for a while. And of course, they didn't want me to go back in the water, but my mom said, look, it happened. And that's all she said, look, it happened. And she knew I was passionate about sharks my whole childhood. My whole career was really towards these incredible animals. So I just could not stop because all the wealth of information I gathered. And now it's my new idea. Of course, I explained to my parents, look, I had this revelation in the hospital. I know what I'm doing, and it should not have happened if the person would have done the job. And my parents, my brother, they understood. It's just an accident, and I just love these animals, and I have to keep going.
You lost 60% of your blood, is that right?
Yes.
How did you not die that day?
Well, I actually should talk to a ghost right now. Some of my doctors said, well, it could have been 70%, we're not really sure, we pumped so much blood into you. Yes, I should have died, but I was getting ready for another Ironman. This was what I did back when. I loved Ironman, triathlons. And so it was in good shape. I mean, of course, I always questioned, why the heck do you put in so much training after my back I knew in order to get a second chance?
That's incredible. Honestly, it's incredible. So you head up Sharks. How did you guys setting this up? Or what were your biggest barriers that you face?
Well, it was the mid-90s, and I just got really into this applied shark research, shark-human interaction thing, and I realized, oh, there's a lot of new stuff. But I was stuck in the university, literally stuck in the university, and I didn't find an outlet to teach everybody, because I was one, oh, divers have to know this, oh, swimmers have to know this, surfers have to know this, and I looked for a legitimate outlet. And I said, why not create a company that focuses on bringing humans close to the sharks and at the same time teach them? I mean, in the mid-90s, there was a complete new thing, like eco-tourism, adventure, research type of mix. But when I started this, I just believed in the idea this is a tool that I can use. And now, 24 years later, it turned out that it was the right way to do, and I'm very happy that I can still do it, because it's very rewarding to bring divers, anybody who is afraid or loves sharks, doesn't really matter, close to these animals and see the change in those people that see these are beautiful animals that don't really have a backbone, just misunderstood.
But don't have any bones.
I want to show the beauty of these animals, and they're not after us, and just explain in body language how we can communicate with them. And anybody who has a dog or a cat or a horse says, oh yeah, I've seen this in my dog and my horse, my cat. Yeah, sharks are not different.
Leads me quite nicely into my next question, actually, around, we talked about the perception of sharks. It's fair to say that the 1975 film Jaws has a lot of responsibility in terms of people's fear of this. People won't get into the sea because they're convinced that they get eaten by a shark, and we all know what. But I think many of us know that's obviously not true. There's been such a big focus the last 5-10 years around the number of sharks that are killed every year. It ranges between 70 to 150 million, depending on what you read. But for me, there seems to be a big focus on how we stop that, whether that's through social media channels, people like Ocean Ramsey, Shark Girl Madison. There's a number of shark activists out there that are doing their best to change behaviours, challenge cultures, the shark fin industry. What's your perception of that? Do you see this at the point where the tide's turned?
I see a change. The only question I have, do we still have time? I really doubt we have time. And of course, we protect, but we really have to do more protection. But the most important thing is we have to change people's attitude towards these animals, and we can only do that by convincing people that you don't have to be afraid of sharks. And because, if I come up with a petition to protect Bambi, beautiful animal, everybody signs up. If I come up with a petition to protect sharks, first of all, you have to tear down the image they have, dangerous animal, and then you have to explain to them why we need the sharks. So there's always extra work that be done because of what Jaws actually did. So if we can convince people that sharks are like any other creature, but it's the most abundant top predator, over 100 pounds on our planet, so they have a very crucial role. If we can take away the fear and then explain why we need them, then we might still have to be changed. But of course, we go in the right direction. The question just is, are we fast enough?
Yeah. So with Shark School, your main focus is really to educate people, not just about shark behaviours, but just sharks in general. Is there a particular shark that your Shark Schools generally focus on?
No, of course, we have a lot of divers from all walks of life. Some want to see tigers, others want to see whites, bulls, whatever. So we teach worldwide, and so we have all the shark species that people really want to see. And of course, people are repeaters, they want to have different levels. So we cater to all the needs that people have. So it's not just divers, we have swimmers, surfers, and because they all have to learn how to interact with these animals. We teach police, lifeguards, special forces. So there's a big need out there to get close to these animals and not being afraid. So whatever we can do to educate and make people feel more appreciative of these animals, that's what we do and that's what we offer.
And how do you suggest someone gets, if someone's interested in doing a Shark School session, do they come to your website? Do they come to something like ProLife International? What's the best channel for them to?
The easiest, of course, is go to our website and
Which is what?
sharkschool.org, and then we ask the person, okay, what are you most interested in? Do you just want to learn the tools, how to interact? Do you want to see a particular species? Do you want to be on a liveaboard, land-based? But we also have children programs, and I think that's, of course, very interesting for all the teachers. We write lectures for kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. We have a website you can download these classes for free. With PDF, explains everything. We really try on every level to change people's attitude. I mean, me personally, I love the chaos because it's a lot of fun. I can finally go on stage with my stuffed animals. I love that. But so we really try on every level to present sharks the right way.
Eric, you've been to Guadalupe. I'm not even going to hazard a guess how many times you've been to Guadalupe. Yeah. And I would imagine you've been on trips where you've been outside a cage and also cage diving.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts and perceptions on today's cage diving?
Well, I have two hearts in my soul. One part, of course, a lot of people have never seen sharks and want to see white sharks. That's the only way for them to actually get exposed to white sharks. Me personally, I like to hang out with sharks without a cage, without a boundary. So there is a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. Unfortunately, having a cage suggests that it's a dangerous animal, which of course it's not. And of course, this is always a very tricky. These people want to see a shark, they want to out of thrill seekers that just cannot dive, or enthusiasts that are not allowed to be outside the cage. So you really have to work with these people. And when we go out there, of course, we do workshops, we want to explain to them. And of course, we tell them, look, you don't really actually need a cage, but because we reach much more people, we can change much more people's perception. So it's good, it's bad, it's a little tricky to be on one or the other side.
Okay, so it's not something you're dead against. If you think if people want to go see a great white in a cage, then
This is the problem. Of course, if you just do a cattle run as we do down in South Africa with hunts by, in the morning or in the afternoon, and just throw people in, no education, just pull the food over the cage. I mean, that's a bad thing, obviously. But if you have to go out in the ocean, stay for a few days, you will change your perception one way or the other, and then you have time to observe these animals. And with the proper education, you will be then a proponent, and you will be an advocate for sharks. And if you just observe white sharks, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, and you will see them in a different light. And it doesn't matter if you're inside the cage, you will change your attitude towards these animals. And if you ever have to change to just hang out with them outside the cage, go for it, it's beautiful.
I've got 2 questions left.
Sure.
Number 1, you said that the black tip reef shark was your favourite shark.
The black tip.
Oh, sorry, the black tip.
The oceanic black tip.
The oceanic black tip is your favourite shark. Why?
This is for me the true shark. It's too small to come across big, but he has an attitude. It's like, I had a little dog, Yorkshire Terrier mix, and he had an attitude like, was too small, but this is where he tried to come across. And whenever I see a black-tipped shark, I see my little Yorkshire Terrier mix, big attitude, but too small to bite. So that's why I love him.
That's fair enough. I think most people would say I'm a great white.
Yeah,
so
I hang out sometimes on my own, just hang out with them, and I just love them. It's as simple as that, And even if they once in a while bite you for whatever reason, you use some duct tape, so don't try again next time, I love them. It's as simple as that.
And how many times have you been bitten by a shark?
Well, it's like a firefighter, if you jump right sooner or later, you will get burned. So it's with sharks the same thing.
Occupational hazard.
Yeah, sometimes you surrounded by sharks, do something, and then you turn too quickly, your shark is scared, and he snaps you because he defends itself. No shark wants to harm us. A lot of people think sharks out there to bite us because they want to. I've never seen a shark or come across a shark where the shark's intention was to harm us. If he bites very often, he just wants to protect himself. And this is very important, that even if a shark does what we call exploratory bite, he just wants to get these instructions towards his taste buds. That he has his teeth there, well, that's unfortunate, but he doesn't want to use his teeth to penetrate our skin because the intention is just to get an idea of what we are. So even bites, we have to really see bites from a different viewpoint. So anyway, sharks are not there to get us, they're not out there to harm us, and these few bites that we have 80 to 100 incidents per year, we have to explain. And this is very important when there's in media and we headline. We always hear that a shark bit a person, we don't want to know why it happened. And the why it happened, of course, in order to preserve sharks is very important.
And my last question, if anyone watching this is the future Erich Ritter, if there's any young fan out there who wants to be the future of shark conversation or a shark behaviour expert, how do they become you?
Actually,
what's your advice? Where should they be going to uni? What should they be studying?
I'm tutoring 4 or 5 kids right now, 12 to 14. They all want to get into the field, and I tell everybody, look, if you really want to get into it, send me an email. And then I ask you a few questions. It's a different way to go if you live in South America than in Europe because of what possibilities you have. But I tell everybody, look, if you want to really get in the field and you're already 18 or 20, join my research team for 2 or 3 weeks, see what we do, and I help you. So that's basically the best thing. Send me an email. I always answer my emails. It takes sometimes a while because I'm in the field, but then I can really help individually, and I love doing that.
Fantastic. Well, there you go, guys. You've literally said that from the shark's mouth, so to speak, rather than the horse. Eric, thank you ever so much for your
My
time. I really appreciate
Thank you.
your honesty, your everything that you do for sharks. You know, you're a great inspiration to people like me and
Thank you.
Amy, and I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this that yeah, would really enjoy your chat. Hopefully,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.